Howdy everybody, welcome to Cooking with Chef Fletch. Of course, I'm Chef Fletch. This week, we're making, well, if y'all watched my video last week, I did a carrot cake for a friend who had a special request. After that special request, I asked anybody else if they had any special requests. So this week, we're making a special request that my mother-in-law requested, a chicken Wellington. Now, it's been a while since I've done a Wellington, and I've never done a chicken one. So, like we say on here, this is all about cooking and having fun and learning new recipes. So, even though I've cooked a Wellington, a beef Wellington before, never done a chicken, so I'm going to be learning right along with y'all. So, first things first, guys, we got our food processor. We've got 16 ounces of, I've actually got Baby Portabellas that are already sliced, but we're going to chop them up a little bit coarser. So we'll get those chopped up and we'll move on to our next step. Alright guys, we got those mushrooms chopped up. We're going to go ahead and get them cooked a little bit. So we're going to add 2 tablespoons of olive oil to our skillet. Then we're going to add the mushrooms. Get all those in there. We are also going to add half a teaspoon of garlic powder, half a teaspoon of onion powder, a quarter teaspoon of ground thyme, 2 tablespoons of dried parsley. We are also going to add a half a teaspoon of sea salt and a quarter of a teaspoon of black pepper. Get all that mixed up. We're going to stir this is going to cook for about 8 minutes, stirring occasionally. We want to make sure any liquid that was in the mushrooms is evaporated. It'll take about 8 minutes to cook. Then we'll pull this off and we will continue on. Alright guys, we got the mushrooms out the pan. Now we got to get the chicken ready. So we're going to season both sides of our chicken with salt and pepper. Next thing we're going to do with the chicken is we're actually going to roll it. We want it to be cylindrical. So we're going to kind of roll it so it's in a cylinder. We're going to take a couple pieces of butcher's twine. We're going to do 4 pieces and just tie it so that it keeps the shape. Just tie it off. I said we'll do 4, so 2 in the middle, 1 on each end. And if you got the strings a little long, you can cut it off. So we'll get this one done. We're actually going to do 2 more chicken breasts, but we'll get them all tied. Alright guys, as you can see, I got the chicken all tied up. We got our pan heated up. We're going to throw 2 tablespoons of olive oil in the pan. Let that heat up for just a minute or so. Once that gets heated, we'll go ahead and throw our chicken breast in there. They're going to take about 10 minutes to cook, and then we'll pull them off and put them on a plate, and we'll get them rolled up in our puff pastry, get this chicken Wellington going. Alright guys, we got the chicken out of the pan. Obviously, you don't want to keep the butcher twine on it. That would not taste very good when we're eating it. So we got to cut this butcher twine off. The butcher twine was mainly there to help make sure it kept its shape. So we'll get all the butcher twine cut off. Next we're going to brush the chicken breast with some Dijon mustard. Get it coated in the Dijon. So we get that. I'll get these other 2 coated and we'll be back in just a minute. Alright guys, we got all of our pieces together so that we can make our Wellingtons. We got our puff pastry, got it actually set on a piece of plastic wrap. We're going to take our mushroom mixture that we made earlier. We're going to just spread it. You don't want to go all the way to the edge, so you want to leave a little bit on the sides. Spread it on our pastry. just about like that. Leave a little bit on edges. Then we're going to take a slice of our prosciutto, which sometimes can be tricky because it's so thin. That's why they put these papers in between them. So this one actually came off fairly easily. Getting it off the little piece of plastic that was making a liar out of me. It's usually a little bit more difficult to get it off of there. So we got one on there. Let's see if we can grab one more. Get that piece of plastic that separates them. Get this piece off. That out the way. So we got our prosciutto on there as 2 slices. Then we'll take one of our chicken breast, put it on there. I'm going to actually move some stuff out of my way. We are actually going to we are going to take it and we're going to roll it. Actually going to use this plastic wrap to help us make sure it stays nice and tight. Don't want to get the plastic wrap rolled up into it though. Just using it to help us keep it tight. That's why we don't want to put too much toward the edge, because it's going to roll out to the edge anyways. We'll slide this back to the middle of the plastic wrap though, because we're actually going to wrap it in the plastic wrap. We want to make sure the ends are tight. Kind of pinch the sides of the dough together and wrap it. Take your plastic wrap and you can twist it to help make it tight. We're actually going to refrigerate this for a little bit and then we'll get it in the oven in just a little bit. Alright guys, he's set in the fridge for about 15 minutes just to get them cool. And we're going to take them out of the plastic wrap. Obviously, like I said earlier, you don't want to eat the plastic wrap, just like you don't want to eat that butcher twine. So we're going to make sure the seam side's down and take the back of our paring knife. We're not going to cut all the way through, that's why we're using the back. Going to do some cross hashes on this. Then we're going to we beat an egg. We're going to take this egg wash, just wash it over the top. And it's going to go on this parchment paper lined sheet pan. It's going to go in the oven. Needs to cook for about 25 to 30 minutes to cook. I'm going to get the other 2 on here and we'll get them in the oven. Alright guys, Wellingtons just came out the oven. Got them on a plate so they can cool for a little bit, because we want to let them cool and set a little bit before we actually cut them. So while they're cooling, we're going to go ahead and get a gravy made. Now if you notice, this is the drippings left over from when we cooked the chicken in the pan. We're going to add a tablespoon of olive oil to it. Let that get heated up. Once that gets heated up, we're going to add 2 tablespoons of flour to it and cook that for a little bit. And then once it's cooked, we're going to add 2 cups of chicken stock to it, as well as half a teaspoon of salt, a 1/4 teaspoon of black pepper, and 2 teaspoons of dried parsley. That flour or that oil should be heated up, so we'll go ahead and dump our flour in there. We'll get this going. Just want to keep stirring this constantly. We want to try to also scrape up some of those drippings from the chicken. We'll stir this for a few minutes, let it kind of get brown, and then we'll add our chicken stock. So we're adding our 2 cups of chicken stock. Get that in there. I'm going to actually go ahead and grab a wire whisk. This will help, let's get that out the way, so we can break up that flour so it's not too clumpy. And it'll help pick up that stuff off the bottom as well. Alright, once this gets hot, we'll add our seasonings. And we'll let that cook until it thickens. And we'll transfer it to a gravy bowl. And once our Wellington's ready to slice, we'll be ready to go. Alright guys, I got the gravy ready, the Wellingtons are ready. All we gotta do is slice it now. Slice it in about inch to an inch and a half pieces. You really see the chicken in that piece. Get that on the plate. Get one more on the plate. Put a little bit of our gravy on there. And there you go, guys. Well, hello, guys. Chicken Wellington's done. Got a cheese potato. If you want to see the recipe for that, you'll have to watch next week's video. But it's time to taste this Wellington. Man, that's good. Chicken tastes good. You get the taste of that prosciutto. Puff pastry is nice and flaky. Even that gravy's good. Good stuff, guys. Now remember, guys, cooking should be fun. So have fun with it. We'll see y'all next week. Want that cheese potato recipe, guys? It'll be out next week. So hit that subscribe button, hit the little bell icon, you'll get a notification when it pops up. We'll also notify you whenever we do a special video on holidays and our regular weekly videos on Thursdays. While you're at it, like, comment, share. See y'all later, guys.